Hey y'all, welcome back to J&J Dynasty. Couple attempts on recording this video. I keep confusing myself with the actual information. So let's get cranked up here and we'll get this video going, right? So, hello all. Let's get into this one. So it's J&J Dynasty. It's a one quarterback standard PPR leagues. That's what we do these videos for. We are 8 total drafts, 7 in June, so the numbers are all appropriate. Let's get into the actual what's happening here. All right, there we go. That's that one. So now we should be good to go. Don't forget, as always, give me a thumbs up, big thumbs up. Like the video, please. Subscribe. Goal is to get to 10. I'm at 8 viewers right now, so let's get that cranked up. Also, let's get for notifications, get that bell ringing, right? One last thing I always tell Pete, say in every video, this is what the numbers are. You can always pause it and see where they're going. Check out the highs and lows, if they're going up or down, you know, as far as their value, and track them a little bit. That's why I'm actually doing it this way. It's helped me quite a bit in the drafts. So to start off to the far left here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the colored box, the gray box on my screen, that's 1 through 12. That's so I know where everybody is in a round, right? The next number is what it was after the last video. And for some reason, this is messing me up because not all of, I'm using a wrong header on top of there. But so there's one league that's missing. And I do that to keep track of it, but there's 7 leagues on here. There's only 6 red or dark names for July, so I keep getting that messed up. So I keep whatever going on. So you got 1 through 13 there for the second column of numbers. That's where they were before the last 2 numbers were put in. All right. So then you got the player's name. The reddish or brownish number is main numbers. All the black numbers after that are the actual draft choices where they went for the so far in June. The bluish number, that's the sum of all of them. So that is May and June's numbers divided by the number 8 way to the far right. All right. So then the next, the reddish brown number, again, it should be exactly the same number as the main numbers. And then the black number in between there, like on the number line, number 1, 2 is 1.9. That's what Jahmyr Gibbs is coming in during the month of June. He had the one time he usurped Bijan Robinson with a Detroit lover. The guy also made a trade in that draft for Detroit's Williamson, who's going to be suspended. So my conclusion, he also had picks 1, 2, and 3, and he wound up trading pick 3. So in that one, so that's why he could afford to take Jahmyr Gibbs number 1 overall. So take that with a big grain of salt, right? So let's get into the numbers here for the first round. You can actually see that there's a pretty good tier after the first 5 guys. Jordan Addison's solidly in as the number 4 guy now. Quentin Johnson, anywhere between 7 and 4, that's where he's going to go. Smith and Jigba resume 4 or 3s across the board. It's not much deviation there. He's just solidly locked. You have a little bit of a grouping here with Richardson and Kincaid and Zay Flowers. You look at that, I mean, well, really it goes all the way to A-Chain. So, you know, you get a point basically difference between, 6 and 10. So it's kind of a crapola shoot there, except for Charbonnet. He's, 9 or 10 almost every time. And everybody else is jumping above and below that. So, I'm sorry, I meant Miller is locked in there at number 11. Miller's locked in at number 11. Don't know what I'm saying. Getting mixed up in my numbers. 3rd time I'm recording this, so I apologize. So, as you can see, also it's pretty weird because Bryce Young is going anywhere from 4 to 19 in what's showing here. Week number 3, he was 19. In one of the last 2 drafts, he was number 4. Quite a bit of deviation there for you. So, all right. So let's get back. Just concentrate on the numbers just a bit more here. All right. And so let's see here. Who was the other guy that I was? Quentin Johnson. He's gone as early. No. Richardson. He's gone as early as 2. He's been in the top 6 3 times, but then he's also fallen to the second round 2 times. So that's quite a bit of a deviation going on there. All right. So as I mentioned, you can always pause and take a look at these numbers some more. All right. Here, let's get into round 2. So it really shows that pick 13, that's where there's a big drop off. You go from 13 to 18, 4.5, rounds in 2 picks. So I deem that a drop off, right? So Jonathan Mingo kind of looks like he's by himself there at pick 14. So whoever got him there, as you can see in pick number 8, he overdrafted him by roughly half of what he should have been. And as you can see, the numbers are Mingo's actually climbing and catching up to Sam Laporta by the June numbers over there. So if we keep going on here, there's some crazy ones in here. Guys really take a big jump in some places and get really fall off in others. As you go through the numbers, a big swing from Tajay Spears all the way from 13-14 to 24 or 26. So, I mean, you're talking almost a round difference there. So, you just got to recognize what it is. And then that makes up the big grouping there from 15 to 19. There's a 1.5 difference between all of those guys there from Stroud, Spears, Mims, Johnson, and Mayer. And Bigsby's a 1.5 behind that, so I think that's kind of a little tier there. So Bigsby comes in solidly as number 20th, and as you can see, that for the sum all, he's at 21 overall. And remember, guys, the differences between these numbers are because there are veterans being picked in here also. So every one of these drafts don't go exactly 1 through 85 or whatever number you would go through for all the rookies, however many of them you want to count, right? So that's where they actually were drafted, including the veterans that are drafted in the round. So you get all the way down to Rashee Rice, Chase Brown, Josh Downs, and Jalen Reed. If you remember from very early on in the draft process, everybody thought Josh Downs was going to be a first-round draft pick. I thought, he was going to be like like more in Kansas City, where he would be talked about in the first round, to drop out, and then climb back up close to the first round. But apparently it's not happening. He's going off at 211 on average here. So that's something to be watching for, see if he continues to climb up or not. All right. Let's get into round 3. Again, if you need the information, put a pause on it. Track your guy, see what's happening as the drafts roll along here. All right. This is round 3. So you have Israel, Cedric Tillman, Musgrave, Hyatt, Evans, McBride, Schoonamaker. Tucker has been pretty solid at the 45, which makes him the 32nd rookie off the board. So, I mean, that's 3-8, 3-9. So you got to start looking for him to go off the board at some point in there. So, as far as rookies, so Tank Dell, then Eric Gray. A lot of guys are looking for him. He finally did not get drafted in the last round. So if you can see here on the numbers, like Eric Gray, Tank Dell, I think those are the highest guys. O'Shawn Tucker at 85 in the very first draft. 85 indicates that they weren't drafted. All right. So there will be a couple guys on the next slide who have 84s on them. Nobody's been drafted at exactly 84, but I put them Michael Wilson, 84. He was drafted, but he was drafted after pick 85. So with that being said, and the reason I do that is so that way when the averages come up, a couple guys in the next slide have just like one draft, but it was after 85. Instead of pushing them down further, you get an 84 if you're drafted after that. So But that will be enough on the averages to bump you up again past everybody else that's on the list. You at least have marked a spot because you were drafted. All right. So one of the guys that was noting, I mean, I thought there was a couple weird ones in here too, where some guys went really early. I mean, Dwayne McBride at 24. That was pretty darn early. And at 25, I thought there was Israel. Israel has been, I mean, look at his numbers: 17, 30, 24, 52, 34, 30, 16, and 17. Um, that's crazy fluctuation. So if you like Izzy, you don't know where the heck you can get him. I still think that he should be, end of the second round. This is showing pick 3-1, third round, roughly. So that should give you an idea. And that's exactly why I do these types of things in my drafts. Because if I am a Breece Hall owner, which I am, I um, I want to know where the heck I got to get him. So it gives me a very good clue that I've got to start watching out for him as early as the early second round. So, I mean, it's kind of crazy. So let's get into the last grouping. So this is round 4. I'm only going into round 4 on these videos for the simple reason that, as you can see, Tyler Scott down there, he hasn't been drafted at all. So A.J. Perry has been drafted 1. Kenny McIntosh finally got drafted and pushed himself way up. Somebody grabbed him at a 55 level. So he must be a Georgia fan or something. So, but that's crazy. So starting off your 4th round, Deuce Vaughn, Will Levis, who also has not been drafted. So every one of these guys, I believe, have not been drafted in every round or every draft. So all of these guys are going to have an 85 somewhere. So Deuce Vaughn, Will Levis, Hendon Hooker. It's funny how they are right on top of each other. And as you can see, it goes back and forth with sometimes they get drafted, sometimes they don't, right? So with that being said, Hendon Hooker, Puka, Tucker Kraft, who's been showing a little bit more love. 3 out of the last 4 drafts he's been getting drafted. Evan Hall, Chris Rodriguez, I thought he was gaining momentum, but 2 straight drafts he hasn't been drafted. Xavier Hutchinson, Deneric Prince got drafted again after the 85 there, as you can see on the very last draft. McIntosh, A.T. Perry, and then Tyler Scott. Basically, Tyler Scott shows up at the bottom there because when I started filling out this name with all the names, I went with who I knew pretty much would be in the top 24, and then I just put everybody else straight down the list in the order they were drafted. So Tyler Scott is the first draft choice to not get drafted in any of the fantasy football drafts. If you don't see them on the page here in the first 4 rounds, they have not been drafted in any one of these leagues. So that's pretty much the information on this video. Once again, please like and subscribe to the thing. Hit the bell for notifications. Give me a comment. Give me some sort of love on the board. And we'll see if we can grow the channel. Hopefully, I'm thinking about doing a couple weird videos. I did a, let me do this right. I did bought into a league last year, and I was turning crap into gold. Hopefully, and I've got one night I stayed up and because I'm a junkie. I put that all in the information, so I wanted to maybe share what I did with. I think it wound up being $119, and Nico Collins was the first part of it, and I went into that. And that was last year with the waiver wire and stuff, guys I picked up. And then into this year, how I moved them and what I got for them, and what the team looks like after that. So it was kind of a weird situation because I made the playoffs with that team, and it was a dog crap team, a 9-5 record. And in the middle of the season, I had to drop and reacquire a few guys just to put a starting lineup in. One week, I had to put in 5 guys off of the waiver wire, I believe it was, just so I could put in a starting lineup. And and that's after that was after the bye week, and it was after I had already given up. So it was kind of crazy. So I wanted to make it the playoffs in that team. So, and I should not have. At any rate, that's the video. Hope you enjoy. Talk to you soon in the next one coming around. Thanks.